All right. Let's talk about these two. What part of the right triangle did I want you to find? The hypotenuse. Which part of the Pythagorean theorem, the A, the B, or the C, is the hypotenuse? The C value. Yep, it's the biggest one. So what do I do with that 5 and 6? Square them. So I'm going to have 5 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. Does it matter what order I put the 5 and the 6 in? No. What is 5 squared? 25. And 6 squared? 36 equals C squared. What do I get when I add 25 and 36?
You get 61.
61. So 61 is equal to C squared. Is that the answer that I'm after? No. What do I still need to do now? Square root. We have to get rid of the exponent, and we use radicals, roots, to undo that. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides.
7.810.
Yes. Sometimes they ask us to leave things in reduced radical form. How would I reduce or simplify the square root of 61? Try to break it down, right? Can 11 go into it?
12 times 5. So you break it down to 12 times 5, and then you break it down to 12.
12 times 5 would be 60, so it's close. It's not 61. Can 2 go into it?
Yes.
No, because it's not even. It doesn't end with an even number. Can 3 go into it?
No.
5?
No.
7?
No.
11?
No.
13?
No.
No. 61 is prime. It doesn't break down. The only things that go into 61 are what? 1 and 61. So my final answer on this, if they wanted me to leave it in reduced radical form, I would leave it as the square root of 61. Or you can round it. And Lauren, I believe you said that at the beginning, that's about 7.81, right? Yeah. So depending on the form that they ask for your answer in, determines which way you'd put this in or put in your final answer, which one you would circle. Number 2, part A. We need to restrict the domain. Am I talking about x's or y's when we talk about the domain? X's. This is going to be just like the axis of symmetry. How do we always start the equation for an axis of symmetry? Goes down the middle of my vertex, so it has to be a what equals equation?
X equals.
X equals, because it goes through what axis? Goes through the x-axis. So I need an x. It's not going to be an equals on this.
It's going to be
Which way do I want my inequality to go? Do I want it to go this way? Or do I want it to go this way if I want to keep the right-hand side? This way. That's my greater than. That's the only difference between a domain restriction and the axis of symmetry when I write it. What's going to come after that? If I want it to go through my vertex, positive 2, because that is my h value. That's my domain restriction. On all the problems that we did in the Bell work last week, they gave us that. That was the part after the comma. For this one, they wanted us to find it. Does that matter for the rest of my steps on part B? Nope. That does not affect the rest of my steps. All it does is make sure that my answer comes out to be a function. So now I want to find the inverse. What's the first thing I need to do to find my inverse? Switch the variable. So instead of y equals, I'm going to have x equals. And then inside my parentheses, I'm going to have,
y minus 2.
yep,
C squared plus 4.
yes. What is my goal now?
Solve.
Solve. And when you say solve, what do you mean? to get y alone. I want to isolate the y.
Subtract 4 from both sides.
Subtract 4 from both sides will be the first thing that I do. Because where is y?
It's on the outside of the parentheses. Oh, inside the parentheses.
Inside the parentheses. So first I have to get rid of everything that's outside of the parentheses. I'm going to bring my work up and around here. Need to make a radical because that will allow me to get into those parentheses there. So we're going to do the square root of the right-hand side, and then it should look like this on the left. It's got to go all the way across because it's if you do it to one side, you do it to everything on the other side, the whole side. So squaring and square rooting are going to cancel out on the right. I'm going to have the square root of x minus 4 equals y minus 2. Do I need the parentheses anymore?
No,
Why not?
because it's not holding anything.
It's not holding anything. You're right. There's nothing else over there except for what was inside them to begin with.
Now you need to add 2 to both sides.
Now we need to add 2 to both sides. Is this minus 2 over here currently under a radical? So when I add 2 to both sides, is this 2 under? No. Can it combine with that minus 4?
No, because it's under the radical.
The minus 4 is under the radical. The plus 2 is not. So I cannot put them together. Do I have my y alone? Yes. Do I need to name this with an inverse notation?
No,
Why not?
because it didn't start with one.
It didn't start with function notation. It didn't start with a function name. And so my inverse doesn't have to have a function name. If they'd given me a function name at the beginning, like f of x equals, instead of y equals, then I would have to give it the f with the little -1 notation. Do you guys have any questions for me on the bell work? Okay.
How do you do the A part?
How do I do part A? We find the vertex. So hold on, let me write this down.
Talk about the
This part right here? Yeah. So you find vertex. Our vertex here would be 2, 4. We want this piece of it right here. Do you remember for our axis of symmetry, we did x equals h? This is exactly like the axis of symmetry, straight line that goes right down through the middle. But instead of just that line, I want that and everything to the right.
So it's always roughly the same?
It's always going to be a greater than or equal to. Yep. It's always x, and then greater than or equal to, and then h. Always, 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 always. All right. Do you guys have any other questions for me about the bell work? We left off on Friday on page 232. We had just gotten here on number 5. We had 2 answers. 232. Yep. Page 232. We'd gotten 2 answers here. There was one super important piece that we didn't have time for at the end of class, though. We're number 5 down at the bottom. Sorry, I scratched out the number on this because it looked like 5.x instead of number 5, and then it starts with an x equals. So I scratched the number out so that we didn't get confused with the numbers there. Is that okay? Okay. What do I still have to do? Check. We have to check each answer.
So we input the x values into the straight answer.
Yes. We got to do them one at a time. I'm not going to put one answer for x in for one x and the other one in for the other x. We do the same thing in all the x's. So we'll have to do 2 checks here. Which x do you want to check first? Which one? 1 sounds good. So instead of x equals, so it's x equals the square root of 6 minus 5x. Guys, please put your phones down for me. So I'm going to have 1 equals the square root of 6 minus 5 times 1. We are not allowed to cross that equal sign there. So over here, don't touch this. If I can't touch the 1 that's over there on the left, I can do 5 times 1 on the right. What is 5 times 1? 5. Okay. So I'm going to have the square root of 6 minus 5. What's 6 minus 5?
1.
And what is the square root of 1? 1. What did we have on the other side? We had a 1 on the other side. Are those equal? Yes. So what does that mean about this answer right here? What word do we use? Valid. This is valid. Because we performed our operations correctly all the way through, right? Both of these answers are correct. The question is, are they valid or not? All right. Now we have to check our other answer. So now I'm going to put -6 in the place of the x. I'll try not to write so messy. Remember, it has to be the same thing for x in both spots. And I am not allowed to cross that equal sign. So just like before when I said do not touch that 1, we cannot touch that -6. So if I can't touch the -6, what can I do? -5 times -6. Negative times negative gives me what? So I have a positive 30. 6 plus 30? 36. And the square root of 36? 6. What did I have on the other side, though? Are those equal? Is owing somebody $6 the same as having $6? No. Yeah, when we take the square root, if they have a square root on the page for us, not us taking a square root of both sides, but they have the square root already printed on the page, it's understood that it's the primary, the positive square root that they want. So yeah, it's never going to come out to be a negative number when we take the primary square root. What does that mean about this answer then? It's not valid. Does anybody remember what we call that? It starts with an E and it's kind of long.
Extraneous.
Extraneous.
I wasn't here for this.
I know. The video is up on Canvas though. And we're going to do some more practice with these problems right here. Okay? All right. How are we feeling about this? Halfway decent warm-up? Let's do another problem for practice. Flip your book over. We're going to look at problem number 6. I'm going to scratch the 6 out. Are you guys okay with that? Because I feel like it's just too close to the problem. I'm going to get confused and think it's part of my problem. So I'm going to scratch this out right here just because I don't want to get confused. Look at the left-hand side of the equal sign. What's over on the left? On the left?
22 minus 6x
Under a radical. Is there anything on the left-hand side that's not under the radical? Is there anything outside the radical on the left? No. So it is isolated. That is a really good thing. We don't have to do anything to it. You have to isolate that radical before you can get rid of it. So if there's other stuff on that side, we've got to move it. Since it's already isolated, I can get rid of my radical. What will get rid of our radical? Squaring it. And if you do it to one side, you got to do it to the other side. That does not mean square the x and square the 5. It means square everything, this whole thing together. What does it mean to square something? Times it by itself. So when I say square this whole side, I'm saying do x minus 5 times another x minus 5. We have to double distribute here, yes. I'm going to take the x and distribute it to both pieces. What's x times x? X squared. What's x times negative 5? Negative 5x. Do I need to do any other distributing? Yes, I do. I have to take this negative 5 and distribute it. Negative 5x, and then negative 5 times negative 5? Yep. Positive 25 plus 25. So over here on the left, or sorry, on the right, I'm going to have x squared. Do I have anything to put together? What do I get when I put those two together? Negative 10x. So x squared minus 10x plus 25 is what I have here. What do I have on the other side? 22 minus 6x, because the squared and the square root will cancel each other out. There's something that I notice at this point that's really important and will determine my next steps. Who sees it? You almost got there. The x squared. Whenever we see an x squared, what are we looking at? Starts with a Q. Quadratic. Yeah, this is a quadratic function, a quadratic equation. And we solve quadratic things by setting them equal to 0 and then factoring. Look at the x squared. Is it on the left or the right? Is it positive or negative? Then leave it there. Everybody else needs to come to that side. We're going to add 6x to both sides. Is that enough to give me a 0 on the left? We got to subtract 22 from both sides also. So 22 minus 22, that will cancel. Negative 6x plus 6x will cancel. Can anybody tell me why I put the 6x right here and I put the minus 22 right here? Yes, I lined up my like terms so that I can combine them easier. Yep. What about the x squared? What do I do with that? Keep it. Drop it straight down. X squared. I heard minus 4x, and then it's going to be plus what?
3.
Plus 3. What do I have over here on the left? Nothing. How do I write down nothing?
0.
0. 0. So we got it set equal to 0. Cool. Now I need to factor this. Can I use my shortcut?
Yeah.
How do you know? Yes. A is 1. That means I can use my shortcut. Head up for me, please. Yep. So I'm going to do my x. A times c. What's my a value?
1.
1 times my c value, 3. When I multiply 1 and 3, I get 3.
So 1 and 3. Negative 1.
Negative 1 and negative 3. How do you guys know it has to both be negative?
Oh, because the two negative numbers make a positive.
When I multiply them, 2 negatives give me a positive, and it has to add up to a negative number. All right, so tell me then, my factors, the things that are going to go inside the parentheses. Yep. X minus 1 and x minus 3. Do you need a pencil? Okay. What do I do with those factors now? Yes. Set them equal to 0. And so then how do I find my solutions from there? Solve. So what are my solutions going to be then? Positive 1 and positive 3. Here, do you need a pencil? Okay. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. X is 1. Add 3 to both sides. X is 3. So I circle them and I'm done, right? We have to check them. We have to check each of them, right? So check each answer. Which one do you guys want to check first? 1 sounds good. So I'm substituting into 22 minus 6x equals x minus 5. You said check the 1 first. So I'm going to put 1 in the place of both of these x's. And then I'm not allowed to cross what? Not allowed to cross the equal sign when we're checking. So I'm going to draw a little fence here. If I'm not allowed to cross this, what can I do? Yep. And I can do 1 minus 5, absolutely. What is 1 minus 5?
4.
Negative 4. Okay. I can't do anything else on that side, right? So I'm going to go over to the left. I can multiply there. Yep. 22 minus 6 is what I would get here. What else can I do? Subtraction. What is 22 minus 6? 16. What's the square root of 16? 4. What did I have on the other side? Are these equal?
No.
So what does that mean about this answer then? It's not valid. It is extraneous. Okay, so now we check our other one. What are we putting in for x this time? 3. Mia, where did I lose you, dear? Where did I lose you? I thought I heard you say you were confused. Oh, okay. Got it. My bad. All right, not allowed to cross the equal sign. So tell me what I can get away with. Yep. What does the right side simplify to? Negative 2. I can't do things to both sides, like I can't move things on both sides. I can stay on one side, though. Can I simplify the left-hand side at all?
Yes.
Yep, what is that? Negative 18. So I have 22 minus 18 over here, which is 4. What's the square root of 4?
2.
What did I have on the other side?
Negative 2. So it's not valid at all.
That one's not valid either. That one is also extraneous. Did I get any valid solutions?
No.
So what would that mean about this then? Not that it's incorrect. It is a function. Tell me about the solutions. Do we have any that work? No solutions. Every solution that I got didn't work. It was extraneous. All right, did you have a question? All right, let's try the next one down. Try the next one for me. Number 7. What do I have to check for first? if it's isolated, is my radical isolated? Yes. Have to have that before I can move forward. If not, I've got to do a little bit of work there. So how do I get rid of radical? Square. Okay. Rules of algebra say if you do it to one side, got to do it to the other side. So like this? No. Whole thing like this. X minus 3 times another x minus 3. Over on the other side, my radical cancels out. That makes me happier. So how do I do x minus 3 times x minus 3? We distribute. X times x? X squared. X times negative 3? Negative 3x. I'm done distributing? Got to do the negative 3 now. Negative 3 times x? Negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 3? Positive 9. On the other side, I still just have a lonely x minus 1. Combine my like terms. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals x minus 1. What kind of equation are we looking at? Quadratic. Where is the x squared right now? On the left. Is it positive or negative? Then leave it on the left, and everybody else has to come to the left. Nope. Everybody has to come over to the left because my x squared is a positive. If it was a negative, then I would move it to the other side because I would add things to both sides if it's a negative, right? It's a positive right now. So I want this side to be a 0. I do not ever want my x squared to be a negative, or else I can't just use my x and my box to factor things. Plus 1 on both sides. Okay. Do I have a 0 yet? Negative 1x. So I'm going to minus x, minus x. Would that give me a 0 over on the right? Yes. What do I have on the left then? Yep. I get a plus 10. I get a minus 7x. Bring that x squared down. What do I do with it after this? Yep. We're going to factor it. So can I use just my shortcut on this? Yes. I don't have to do the area model. Why not? Because A is 1. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me what? 10. And add to give me? Negative 7. What will do that? There's not a whole lot of things that multiply to 10. 2 and 5. Negative 2. And a negative 5. Why do they both have to be negative? Negative times negative to get my positive here. So what are the two factors, the two parts inside parentheses? X minus 2 and x minus 5. What do I do with the x minus 2? Yes. X minus 2 equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0. And what next? Positive 2 and positive 5 will be my answers because we get our x's all by themselves. So x equals 5 and x equals 2. I want you guys to check those answers. Find out if they're both valid, both extraneous, or if we've got one of each again. Check both answers. Is x equals 2 valid or extraneous? Extraneous. When I go to check that one, 2 minus 3, I get negative 1 over here. On the other side, I have the square root of 1. So I end up with negative 1 equals 1, which is not true. What about 5? Is that one valid or extraneous?
Valid.
That one is valid. 5 minus 3, I get 2 over here. 5 minus 1 under my square root, that's 4. The square root of 4 is 2. That one actually works. Beautiful. I want to do one more practice problem with you guys. You guys are going to do this one on your own, and then you'll check your work with mine right before the bell. I want you guys to do number 8. Number 8. Problem number 8 in your books, please. We're on page 233. Page 233, please. Doing number 8. We're doing problem number 8 in your book on your own, and then we're going to check it here in just a minute. Coming. Oh goodness, what's going on?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I ain't do nothing to it. I ain't do nothing. Nah, because you was up here, you didn't even notice. She was going like she was doing this little quick stretch, and she was. Let me reenact this real quick. You're me in this scenario. Just imagine your shoulder. She was going like.
I switched, instead of doing I did the X before I like from the stone to the other side. So I ended up, and I was like, how did you get that? I got 4 negative 4. So here I Oh, also about Eternals, there's an actor in there. she plays this character named Makari who's deaf, and she's deaf in real life. Originally in the comics, she was a man, but now she's on the show.
I like it. All right, guys. 7 you should have found to be valid. Or sorry, 9, not 7. 9 should have been valid. And then 1 was not valid. Guys, you have homework that is due tonight, the last homework of this unit. Homework number 6, due tonight. Tomorrow we will start studying for your test. Test is on Thursday, so we'll study tomorrow in class and Wednesday. Test over this unit is Thursday this week. Please let me know if you guys have any questions or if you get stuck on anything.